Hi there, I'm Simon Canton.
And I'm Dave Higgins.
And we're going to be outlining the last episode in Season 3 of Greenstar, which we will do live on screen. So to do that, I will share my screen. So, previously on, the crew made the new Greenstar and got everyone on board. They made a big higgledy-piggledy Greenstar. I don't know if you got a chance to read through the episode, Dave.
I have. Yeah, I'm all caught up on the reading.
So this is the new layout. Before, we were only filling in the bits that got used.
Yeah.
But this time I actually had to write everything, every single deck. So now we know what's on every deck.
Apart from Anak's Cloud deck.
Apart from Anak's Cloud deck and mystery equipment that Doc made, which kind of I gave us some leeway for putting in weirdy stuff.
Yeah, we were sort of like we had a whole bunch of things that we could stick new stuff on, and way more quarters that we need, and something on a cake decoration level. There's bound to be something at a cake decoration level we can scavenge to do something completely stupid in a later episode.
Yep. So the crew made new Greenstar and got everyone on board, but when they switched off the green burstium engine, nothing happened. Topics forward. Topic talks about how he's discovered a new human emotion, Schadenfreude. He's actually feeling happy that Josie's plan failed, even though that means he's stuck in the land of Nod. Probably misspelled that, have I? No.
No, that's right. It's squiggly because it's German.
It's in the English dictionary though.
It's got a diaresis, I think. So probably wants one of those vowels to have eyes.
Josie is in the conference room with the crew. Audley is conferencing in using a chinwag. They have chinwags now because it's easier. Then they got a hand free. She asks why it didn't work. Audley explains that when you fold a piece of paper, the action of stopping folding it doesn't make it unfold. It doesn't unfold it.
Yep.
Josie asks how they can unfold it then. Elijah says they might not be able to. They've been disappearing the folds for 11 days. Even an AI couldn't come to one. Josie says it can't be possible. There has to be a way out. They can't have gone through all of this to get stuck. Doc says they can't unfold the Greenstar, but they could move the universe to inside the fold they're in if they just stop folding. This is where I'm hand waving.
Yeah, this is where Doc starts to go a bit beyond human reason.
Yeah. Josie asks what that means. Doc says that the Land of Nod is still folding thanks to the specials engine. If they stay still, the Land of Nod will move on without them, leaving them somewhere else, somewhere with different rules. However, if they stop moving and then move the universe, they can end up where they want to go. Josie asks if that will destroy the universe. Doc says it probably won't. She says even the lattice don't understand the power of the greenverse dimension. It can encapsulate everything and move it to them. Just like the teleporter, but in reverse. Josie says to get working on it. Oddly, Doc and Elijah are working on the engine. Oddly comes to see them. She says she can't let them work on it alone. Elijah and Oddly are outclassed by Doc, who is now so smart no one can keep up with her. Elijah tells Oddly he's using his enhancements just to assist. Oddly goes to see the rest of the ship. The people from the clearing are settled into the decks below. Everyone seems delighted with their new surroundings. She finds Pester down in the library. He tells her that he doesn't know everything anymore. He used to be able to just think and facts would appear. He's decided to become the librarian. Then he gets annoyed when the book is out of place. So, yeah, I thought that might be funny that he's the person who wants ultimate order is organizing books.
Yeah, I could see that filling the rest of his existence, because ordering books is an n-dimensional task. There's always boundary cases.
And then, like, he'll decide Dewey Decimal is no longer the appropriate coding, and he wants to use something else.
Dewey Decimal's terrible. as a book coding system. But I won't regurgitate my rant about book codes.
We can save that for a later season.
Oh yeah, I'm sticking lots of stuff that will appeal to the librarians in the audience.
Yeah. Audley visits the labs and sees how well appointed they are. She thinks about how she's going to miss being on a ship. Audley goes back to Doc and Elijah. Doc has a craft knife in her hand. Suddenly, she jumps on Audley and slashes through her clothes, opening a gash in Audley's side. Elijah struggles to pull Doc off Audley, but not before Doc has taken some maggots and pushed them into the wound. Audley struggles to her feet, her hand going to the cut. She asks why Doc did that.
I'm not. Doc's getting smarter and smarter.
Yeah.
And potentially she's picked up some shooting skills from her time in Wallaby, but she's never actually done hand-to-hand combat. So I wasn't certain whether she'd be able to pull it off in that order, or whether she'd need to have the maggots already in her other hand, so she can slash it oddly unexpectedly and then put the maggots in, rather than it being more of a fight. Because
so with her other hand, she pushes maggots into the wound. Oops. Where did I go now? Elijah struggles to pull Doc off Audley. Audley struggles to her feet, her hand going to her cut. She asks why Doc did that. Doc says it will cure her. Audley points out that Doc could have just told her that. Doc shakes Elijah off and goes back to the engine. She says she assumed the two of them would understand what she was doing. Which is, I've read a few threads and things on Quora about intelligence, and they're always saying they assume other people understand things that are basic to them.
It's a terrible burden being brilliant. It's something I suffer from every day.
Elijah says the Doc is getting too intelligent. She can't relate to the rest of them anymore.
Yeah. Do we want to think about what's going to happen to Audley apart from being cured?
So yeah, that's
if it makes Doc super smart, Audley is already very smart. So is she going to become ludicrously smart, or is she just going to become as smart as Doc is and then top out? Or is it going to do something completely different because her problem isn't being stupid?
Yeah, I think it'll do something different because the maggots are trying to cure or help Doc.
Yeah.
They're not like being smart isn't their thing. Like they're just thinking, okay, Doc is dumb. So if we make her smart, then she'll be able to do better in life. So Audley, as you say, is smart. So her problems, I guess, would not be intelligence or looks necessarily.
Well, her problems are the fact she's sick and her issues with her childhood were around the issue.
So if the maggots cured her and then in some way, like if they changed her so she looked exactly like Paul, for instance, then the question would be, why do you look exactly like Paul? And I mean, I'm not sure. I think it's something we could explore further, maybe in season 4 or something.
Yeah.
Depending on what we would do with her here. If she stays in the Land of Nod, obviously, then she's not there.
What the thing about unescapable prisons is once someone's escaped, everyone starts doing it. So there's no guarantee, even if we leave her in the Land of Nod, that she won't pop up again later, albeit quite a lot later due to the time differential.
Yeah. like there's still the specials engine.
Yeah.
So if a green burstium engine can move the universe, well, then she has potentially the way to do that.
Yeah.
And she'll have a shuttle. So while they needed the Greenstar for all of the crew and all the people that need to leave, if she's on her own, she could just put the green burstium engine in a shuttle and leave.
Yeah.
So yeah, potentially for season 4, we'll see. Josie's on the bridge watching Audley's shuttle leave. She gets the word that Doc and Elijah are finished. Josie catches her breath and tells them to try it. In a flash, the land of Nod disappears and they're in a pink void. Then the stars appear around them. Josie asks Lorne to do a scan and he says they're on the far side of the Milky Way. Josie congratulates Doc and Elijah. Doc says something stupid. What should she say?
Something stupid that
is
something stupid that's stupid, or something stupid that seems insightful, and then you get that hang on a second, that's really not moment.
Well, I was thinking that this would be the thing that would tell them, oh, what's happened to Doc? She's suddenly stupid. And then Elijah checks that the maggots and says, oh, they've all died. Or they turned back or whatever.
On the far side of the Milky Way. Engines.
Like she can string a sentence together, so it's not like she'd say engines go stop now or something.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of what does it have to be stupid? I mean, could she rush for a mirror? Because smarter Doc was trolling around in fatigues with a giant gun, not actually obsessing with what she looked like. Because she didn't create mirrors and makeup and so on for the entirety of the season. And so
if Doc says nothing and Elijah says she seems to be staring at her reflection in the panel or something,
yeah.
And then Doc says, oh my God, what's happened to my hair? That would give them the reason to then think that the maggots have died.
Yeah. Or, oh my God, what's happened to my hair? Or do you think my nose needs to be longer? Something.
Yeah, so I think like she'd be most concerned about the fact that she's now dirty and scraggly and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Rather than talking about her like underlying appearance, like that would come second, I guess.
Yeah, on the subject of her appearance, and she changed herself so often she couldn't remember what she looked like. But has she reset when she went into the land of Nod? Because theoretically, if it's her, because the AIs created bodies around them, everyone else's body will have been created.
So it'd be down to what her vision of herself is.
Yeah, has that created?
I think unless she was expecting, like her vision of what she looks like at the moment would be what she actually looked like. I don't think she'd expect to look like her old self.
Yeah.
So I'd say she still looks the same as she did at the end of season 2.
Yeah, makes sense.
So Elijah says that her maggots have died. Josie says they can't be losing things from the land of Nod. Elijah says he doesn't think they are, because his implants work. I was thinking whether his implants should stop working, and then I went, well, then the Greenstar would disappear, because that was created in the Land of Nod. So
yeah, that would be a depressing episode with things
all die in a fact.
And sort of like, so you have the impending doom, and the end of the episode is just a frozen Josie floating in space again.
Yeah, and they all get woken up in 1,000 years' time.
Yeah, if we planned for it and could have seeded it throughout the entire season, then it could be an interesting twist. But
no, I mean, I think if people have read season 2, they want to see what's happening with all the different races and things like that. Like us hopping forward 30 whatever years it is, 31 years or something.
Yeah,
is
it's a
enough.
It's a good space of time for the aliens to have achieved some stuff.
Yeah. Elijah says he doesn't think they are. His implants work. The maggots stopped being good for Doc, so they killed themselves. Mark says that's good. Then she can get back to transforming all his clones. Josie asks if Elijah can turn the engine back into something working so they can go home. Elijah says he can. So if Audley is cured, then I guess the question is, would she leave on the shuttle? Because if she's cured, then if the maggots will survive going back to the regular universe, then they could still cure her. And potentially they could also be a massive breakthrough medically for all of humankind.
Yeah.
Like, I think it doesn't make sense for her to leave then. Her whole reason for being in the Land of Nod was to get to live longer. Unless there's something in the universe that's in the galaxy that's saying that is the actual reason, like that she's hiding her reason for going.
I don't know.
Like, potentially, if she stays on the Greenstar, then we have the storyline with her and Paul for season 4, and her and Josh as well. Like, she's a character that now readers after 2 seasons will be familiar with.
Yeah.
So it's down to whether we want her to, if she had a hidden reason for staying in the Land of Nod, then she could stay there and come back later in some other form for some other reason. Or if she stays on the Greenstar, then she's another character the readers are familiar with that we can use for storylines.
Yeah.
Potentially she's a duplicate of Elijah in that she's also technically smart, although socially a little more competent.
Yeah. I think she's cured. Well, does she know she's cured?
Well, Doc said
they'll cure
maggots will cure her.
Really, Dad, the first question is whether Audley thinks she needs to stay in the Land of Nod while the maggots do it. Because theoretically, she's smart enough to immediately jump to the conclusion that she can put the specials engine into the shuttle and get out again. So she doesn't have to leave immediately.
That's true, yeah.
So it's a question about which conclusions she jumps to in time.
So if Josie contacted Audley, that would kind of sort that out. I mean, potentially as well, we're getting into the situation where I've been thinking that I should really rewatch Next Generation or something like that, because we're getting to the situation where we have so many crew that we can't have episodes where all of them go on a mission.
Yeah.
Because there's just too many to keep track of. So then you kind of have to focus in on characters for an episode. So if we keep adding and adding and adding characters, we're going to end up with so many that each character only gets one appearance per season, which would be disappointing for people.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, if we leave her in the land of Nod and say she's going to make sure she's cured, she has all she needs in the clearing. Now that there's only her and Joshua, then they're not going to go through resources as fast. Okay, where were we? Josie asks if Elijah can turn the engine back. Elijah says he can. Josie says to do that after he gets some rest. Then she goes to her cabin to do the same. Seth is in there playing at her desk with Cram nearby. Josie thanks Cram, but they should be okay now. Cram leaves. Seth shows Josie a picture he's drawn of her fighting a dragon. Josie says it's nice and asks Lauren to hang it on the wall. Lauren does so, a little crookedly. Josie picks up crayons and draws with Seth, finally able to relax. Topic can't help himself. He's very tired, but he wants to see his suite first. He goes inside and sits in the middle of dozens of screens. The screens are displaying different rooms and corridors around the ship. Topic attempts to override the door and stops a Mark clone from going out. Then he opens the door. He has full control over everything. Lauren asks what he's doing. Topic is startled. He didn't realize Lauren could see inside the room. Lauren says, of course he can. Topic quickly writes a subroutine preventing Lauren from telling anyone about it. Lauren says he wouldn't tell anyway. Not unless Topic threatens someone's life. He's always up for a little mischief. That also sets up a potential for a later season that Topic can rewrite bits of Lauren's programming.
Yeah.
Where they couldn't do anything like that before.
Yeah.
Doc is in her lab tending to her wound. Now that the maggots are gone, it's healing. She runs a device over it, sealing it over without a scar. Doc struggles to remember how smart she was, but she can't quite manage it. She stops, thinking about Wallaby for a moment. Then Doc goes to the door and waves the first of the Mark clones inside. The Mark clone says he wants to look like a fictional space pirate. I'm guessing that because they're clones, they're all going to want to look like the same thing. So there are going to be slight variations then on the space pirate. The space pirate from the Hardtack episode, obviously.
Yeah. And are they all going to pick the same character, or are they going to? I mean, they've had slightly different experiences, so potentially they'll diverge, and some of them will be hardtack, and some of them will be space pirates.
Well, that would
be male hardtack.
Yeah, they'd have to be a male hardtack. I don't think they'd change gender identity, but
no, but some of them will be sort of hardtack-esque, and some of them will be space pirate-esque, because a lot of them have chosen variations on hardtack for a name.
And they could as well. Yeah, I mean, they could start to diverge, which would be interesting then if they all keep changing their appearance and changing their names and stuff. Because they then start developing their own identities and that kind of thing. Bailey visits Angel in her cabin. Angel is singing happily to herself. She tells Bailey she's been researching herself and there's a shrine back where her house used to be. Bailey says he knows. Is she still sure she wants to go back there? Angel says she is. Bailey says he'll go talk to Josie. Josie and Connor are visiting one of the luxury apartment decks. They go inside and lock the door, ready for private time. After a moment, the door opens and Bailey storms in. He says Angel wants to go back home and look up which star. I need to look that up when I write it. I forget which star she comes from. Josie says that's fine, but to get out. Bailey leaves, but Raina comes in. She says King Arthur and Mordred want to go somewhere they can ride their motorbikes. The ship doesn't have any roads in it. Josie says that's fine. Raina leaves, and Felipe comes in. Felipe says he wants to go set down on the first planet they come to. Josie asks why. She isn't about to put him in any danger. Felipe says he's been having dark thoughts about Paul and he just wants to get as far away as possible. Josie says he can leave whenever he wants. Felipe is about to go and Josie asks if there are more people outside. Felipe says there's a line. Connor growls in frustration. Josie pats his shoulder and tells Felipe to send the next person in. Gina. Gina is too curious to wait any longer. She goes down to see what's in Annex Dix. The clouds part inside, and there, what? A beautiful garden? Question mark. So what do we want to... We could potentially just cut to her coming out again and going, oh my God, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, or that's the strangest thing I've ever seen. And Neil,
I was worried about this. Annex 2 character traits have been that she's this very mystical guru-like character, but also she doesn't actually know what's going on. The entire thing's a sham. So the thing that struck me immediately was just fragments of famous things about enlightenment. So the Zen garden from the Karate Kid, we have to jump from one rock to another, and a tree that you sit under. All of the various things that have allegedly led people to enlightenment.
So how about, it's like a puzzle. So you have to do all these things, and then it will tell you something that makes no sense anyway. That, you know, it's you jump from rock to rock, and then you sit under the tree for an hour, and then you know, wax on, wax off or something. Yeah. And you do all these things, and then at the end you get handed a scroll which just says the grasshopper flies south when it should be flying north. And then you have to try and puzzle that out.
Yeah.
Essentially it means nothing. So yeah. So she could then think, oh, I've done it wrong and need to go back again. And that's only one of 5 decks as well.
Yeah.
When she comes out, Neil is waiting for her. Gina and Neil talk. About what? Do they become friends? Decide to part? Like, Neil is not the Neil that's completely crazy. He seems to be sane.
Yeah. Well, presumably he was sane when he arrived on the ventilation deck.
And he might, like, Gina joined him 5 years after he'd already been down there, so he might have still had some sanity left. And that's the version she's remembering that's kind of a little bit unhinged, but not completely crazy. So
yeah.
What would Neil's purpose be? Would he want to go and see his real self, or would he want to get together with Gina, or?
Well, I'm thinking about this. If I knew there was another me out there that was mad, utterly batshit crazy, then I'd spend a long time thinking that the last thing I wanted to do was go and see them, because it'd be a bit like when if you were an alcoholic and you were in recovery. Essentially, the last thing you'd want is things constantly reminding you of all the when you're at your lowest. So
So how about he doesn't want to be like Neil that's gone crazy,
Yeah.
and Doc is busy, so he's come to the next best thing for counseling, which is Gina.
Yeah.
And says that he wants to talk to her on a professional basis, not on a romantic basis.
Yeah.
So she says, "Listen, we can never get together because of what I went through with the other Neil." And he
Yeah.
says, "That's not why I'm here. I heard that the other Neil went crazy. I don't want that to happen to me. Can you help me?"
Yes, he wants to. So he wants to deal with the trauma that he thinks turned him into Neil crazy, and part of that will involve working through the trauma from being a slave in the jungle,
Mm.
the tribe, which is going to put Gina in a sticky situation because she wasn't exactly helpful to begin with.
Mm. Yeah. Potentially then we've got somewhere to go next season. Josie finally gets done with the line of people and goes up to the bridge. Maybe Connor's asleep since it's been hours. Since she is not going to get any peace, she orders Elijah and Lauren to take them to Angel's homeworld. They jump and see a planet below. Josie tells Angel and Ballet. Then she broadcasts to the whole ship, saying that anyone who wants to get off at the first planet, they're there.
Yeah.
A few shuttles leave the ship, and Josie is relieved. The more people leave, the less responsibility she'll have. Since the ship is automated, the people are essentially just giving her more things to worry about.
Yeah.
Especially if they get shot at, then there's more decks where people can die. Ballet goes with Angel to her home. She steps out of the shuttle and sees at least a dozen other Angel tunes around her house. Ballet says there are a lot of impersonators. Someone tells Angel she should have made more of an effort. She doesn't even look like her. Angel is taken aback, but Ballet says he did warn her it would happen. Or tell her it would happen. Angel says it doesn't matter. She's going to be famous again anyway. Ballet says people will always consider her an imitator if she tries to be herself. Angel says she's not going to be herself. She's going to get Doc to change her face, and then she's going to change her name. Ballet sees her slipping away, but knows there's nothing he can do about it. Raina flies the shuttle down with King Arthur and Mordred on it. They seem like the best of friends. Then they get out and walk their separate ways. Raina realizes they'll be at each other's throats in a week. Elijah takes Arnold Darkblack and Chief Wolf down on a shuttle. They say goodbye. Arnold is subdued, and Chief Wolf says he's well in hand. Paul is saying goodbye to Felipe and the other ex-crew members. They all insult him. He waves goodbye, misunderstanding the insults and thinking he inspired them. Josie sees the last of the shuttles return and has Lauren run a count. There are 352 people left on board. None of the rest of them want to leave. I was thinking about that. Was there any other planets they were meant to go to for people? Like, I think the rest of them just said a planet. They just wanted to get off the ship. I don't know that there was anywhere particular. It might be something I need to check for when I'm going through, or you could check for when you're going through.
I don't remember anyone needing to go anywhere.
No, because most of them are made-up people, so it doesn't really matter to them where they...
Yeah. And even the people who aren't, they're not likely to want to go to where they came from. There's a 20th century Australian politician.
Yeah.
Necessarily going to want to immediately go straight back to Australia because he knows that it's centuries in the future. So the closest thing to home he's got is Josie. So he's not going to pick Australia over her necessarily.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't think of anyone who we haven't already dealt with who'd need to go somewhere specific.
No, I mean, there is a lot of people from Earth, I guess. There's all the inhabitants of her town, but again, they're from 21st century again. So, yeah, so it's not going to be any use to them to go back to Earth, other than they may be doubtful, I guess.
Mm.
I mean, Earth is the last place Josie can go because she's likely to get shot or captured or something. So she could say that she'll take them anywhere except Earth. Although, I mean, the ship's not likely to be recognized because they've made it up from scratch again.
Yeah, they're not. Well, potentially none of them are going to be recognized straight away.
No, I mean, they'll expect them to be 30 years older anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, if the 352 people left on board they don't want to get off at this planet, and they may not be certain where they want to eventually go, then that gives us somewhere to go next season where one of them can say, or a group of them can say, can you take us to Earth? And then Josie can go to Earth and see what's happening.
Yeah.
Lauren congratulates her on getting a full crew. He asks where they're going next. Josie says there's something she's needed to do for a long time. They jump to the calculated coordinates of Seth's body. They find the coffin and take it inside. Josie goes down to the lab with little Seth and Connor. Seth asks who the old man is. Josie explains. Seth doesn't want to grow old. Josie says it won't happen for years. Doc says she might need some help defrosting Seth. Topic arrives and runs through the procedure because he did it last time.
Yeah.
Seth is sleeping. Josie is a little taken aback when instead of no sons, now she's going to have two. Old Seth wakes up and sees Josie. He says he knew he'd find her eventually, which seemed a good place to kind of stop the season because there's no good, bad, or otherwise about it. He just is saying, like, they just meet up, basically.
Yeah. There are a lot of loose threads in the episode, but none of them have a time pressure on them. So there's plenty of big background stuff to do in season 4 and lots of places to go, but none of it needs to be done immediately. So we can. The one thing I was thinking is, do we want to put an epilogue on the episode? Do we want to end on that line, or do we want to stick a topic snark?
I think I would put topic into it. Or we could have, like we had in season 1, where we catch up with Oddly. Like we caught up with lots of different people in season 1 at the end. So at the end of season 3, we could catch up with Oddly, who's still back in the land of Nod. And Joshua could ask her, so what was the real reason that you didn't go back? And she says, well, you always were very smart. And then that leaves us another cliffhanger for season 4, which maybe is a bit too cruel.
I wasn't thinking of epilogue in the sense of catching up with lots of people. I was thinking of a episode epilogue, because most of the episodes have topic saying something. So do we want to have a little sort of couple of paragraphs of topic saying something snarky in private? Or do we want to have topic start saying things and then Josie goes, shut up, I'm trying to talk to Seth? Is that a bit too meta? Because we've already done him stealing the soliloquies back from Fluffy.
Yeah.
So potentially doing that again would be a little silly.
Well, the alternative I was thinking was the topic could say, now you see, it's all wrapped up in a nice little bow. And then he says, well, Seth and Josie are back together. They're all back in the normal universe. And then he lists all of the threads that we just mentioned that are left.
Yeah.
So he says, everything's wrapped up in a nice little bow. Seth's together with Josie. They're back in the regular universe. Of course, they're 31 years in the future. We don't know why Oddly stayed in the land of Nod. We don't know this. We don't know that. But don't worry about all that.
Yeah.
You could do something like that. But again, that would leave things open for season 4, so people expect season 4 fairly rapidly.
It's like we could do an evolution snark. So Topic does another snarky thing because he does snarky things at the end of the episode, but try to make it softer than the others.
Well, how about he's saying about the reunion? He says, "Oh, would you look at that? Humans just can't stop hugging all the time. It's just sickening." And then little Seth hugs Topic.
Yeah.
And he kind of breaks down in tears, or feels very happy, or something like that. So that way it's not opening any threads or leaving anything.
Yeah.
So then we're not leaving any cliffhangers, basically.
Yeah. No, well, not any immediate cliffhangers.
Yeah, nothing. So there's nothing trying to kill the crew. They're not stuck anywhere untenable. And we've closed off her trying to find Seth, which was a major thing since season 1.
Yeah.
There are other smaller threads open, but potentially people won't tear their hair out that they can't find out what happens immediately.
Hopefully not.
Grant. Okay. Hearing. So, yeah, so I think that's a reasonable episode 10.
Yeah.
Fun season 3, which was kind of weird compared to season 1 and 2, but hopefully people will like it. You saw, yeah, I sent over the short story as well. So anyone who's watching, if you want to, at this stage, 3 or 4 exclusive short stories, you need to sign up to our mailing list, which you can do on simoncanton.com or on Dave's website as well, davejhiggins.wordpress.com. Is that right?
That's me.
Okay, so we'll probably be doing meetings for our fantasy series that we're going to be starting in a few months' time. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Oop. Hang on a second.